Hey everyone, this is Jacqui Cooper with Crypto Mom 2 Talk Show, and I want to welcome everyone back to this episode. I have been looking forward to this episode for so long. I am excited to be introducing Jon in a quick second, but before we get started about our conversation about platforms that are actually doing good, helping our environment and making a difference. For those that are new to Crypto Mom 2, I just want to share a little bit more about my background and how I got started and what's motivating me. My background is that I'm a lawyer, but I'm also a special educator and I'm a single mom. And I love traveling around the world and I love exploring new things. And one of the new things that I started to explore a few years ago was cryptocurrency and blockchain. And I love, as I dive deeper into it, the technology, the creativity, and the individuals that I've been meeting around the world. And I started the talk show because of the networking that I was doing. And I also realized that others needed to know more about how the space was evolving and all the things that they could explore and make a difference. So with that, I want to welcome Jon to Crypto Mom 2. How are you doing today?
Not too bad, not too bad. We sorted out our lighting issues, so happy to be here.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. I know that I'm in the States and I believe you're in Canada. Is that right?
Correct.
Yeah, so again, that's one of the great things about this global community is that you can be doing things in one part of the world and connect with another. So for those that are on the audio side, I would recommend and suggest that you hop over to the video side, and we're going to be mentioning different links that you can actually go to and explore. If you don't have paper and pen, don't worry, just come back to this episode and then there'll be live links there. But on the screen, I see Project Art, I see Arknauts. Explain a little bit more for those that might not be familiar with what you do. Go ahead and introduce both yourself and this wonderful project, and feel free to share how people can hop over to connect and learn more.
Sure. So once again, thank you for having me. My name is Jon O'Sullivan. My background has predominantly been in international development. So how do we use, private sector solutions to solve societal challenges? How do we, build capacity in different communities? How do we mobilize resources? And how do we allow people to, tell their own story and forge their own way to quote unquote development, whatever that may mean to that community? And I found myself in the NFT space now for about 2 years. And the reason being, we had hosted a TED Talk actually in China, where one of the directors of the World Wildlife Fund was telling us a story about holding a baby rhino in her arms while its mother died, a victim of poaching. So knowing full well that millions of years of evolution are going to die with that baby is quite an impactful story that'll hit anybody in the heart, right? And she was just sharing with us a bit of the struggles when it comes to funding for these organizations, where sometimes they're spending upwards of 2/3 of their day fundraising or applying for the next grant funding, just trying to tick every box so they can, fight for what's left. And especially now with COVID and the inability to hold events or big fundraisers, it's extremely difficult to fund animal and environmental conservation efforts. So Project Ark is partnered with the World Wildlife Fund Panda Labs division, as well as a number of other impact organizations around the world. And our goal is to not only help fund animal and environmental conservation, it's also to help these organizations tell a story. I think that the average person is, how would I say, crushed and bombarded every day with the new problems. There's climate change, there's biodiversity loss, there's erosion of democratic rights, there's cancer, everything. It's too much, right? How can any one person feel motivated to help with any one thing? Because we all have our own struggles. And so guilt has been, and getting that warm fuzzy feeling by doing altruism have been the two sort of main factors in motivating people to donate to causes. And we're kind of flipping that on its head with the opinion that we can change charity to investment. We can help these organizations tell a story that matters, that educates and inspires, calls people to action, and that also helps them form a community around their cause so that people keep coming back. We can create value via experiences, augmented reality, virtual reality, gamification, and we can also bring them monetary value. We can create NFTs that support these organizations while at the same time the buyers can go and sell them later in life, hopefully for more money. So this is a scenario where everybody can win. And, we're very cognizant of the emissions question that everybody loves to shout from the mountaintops. But unless you're on Ethereum or, unless you're on Ethereum or Bitcoin, I don't know why I couldn't think of that word, Bitcoin, those are proof of work chains. Now, proof of work versus proof of stake is something, for anyone who's not familiar, is the big difference between something that's a bad emitter and something that really is quite negligible. It's the same as us using, massive data farms to do the Zoom call right now. So a proof of work is basically, if you want to prove one bit of information on the blockchain, it's like 14, 15 computers all revving up, doing the work, and they're in a race to solve these computational algorithms, and then they win the contract and they get paid. So that's like having 14 people all burning engines to get to that one that actually does the work. Proof of stake is not like that. So it's proving that you have the computing power to do so, and the only one person in the queue gets to do it. So it's 99.8% more sustainable and economically, again, it's pretty much null and void the emissions question. Now, that being said, we will always be in search of better ways to mitigate. There are better smart contracts. There are better chains out there that are layer one solutions that are on proof of stake. So we're cognizant of this. But beyond that, rather than getting mired down, basically, we just want to put another tool in the toolkit of these organizations to create change. That's it. And I think that, there's so much opportunity that as soon as we start really reaching this quote unquote mass adoption, I think that people are going to be, one of the key things people are going to congregate around is causes.
I think you're right. Please mention how people can find you.
Yes. So they can go to, anywhere on Twitter or Instagram. We are Project Ark, and that's Ark with a K, a play on the biblical sense, right? We have the saying that, we're all crew members on Spaceship Earth, so let's do our jobs to take care of it. But you can also go to project-ark.co. We are actually going to be launching a new website for Project Ark, I think by the end of the month, so another 10 days or so. And then you can also go to @Arkanauts. That's ARKANAUTS. That is the access pass, loyalty membership card you might think of to everything Project Ark does in our ecosystem. And we've just sold out our first pre-sale, and we will be doing an additional pre-sale by the end of the week, and then our full public sale the following week after. And this is basically a project that is supporting life on land and underwater, but it also acts as, again, almost like your membership card to everything that we do in the ecosystem, to all of our partnerships, to all of our future projects, to all of the other impact NFT projects that we're going to be facilitating and helping, come to market. And all of this is leading to our big project, which we are very excited about, and that is called the Greenverse. And so we have a partnership now with multiple stakeholders in Greenland. And I don't know if anyone saw the news, the other month, but it rained for the very first time in human history on Greenland's highest point. So
wow.
Greenland, yeah, it's not good. it's not good. Greenland is the canary in the coal mine for climate change, right? The faster, like we always talk about the icebergs and Antarctica. Well, if that Greenland ice sheet goes, we're looking at a major problem. You also have to realize that's fresh water sitting on top of salt water. It messes with currents. It is a very, very, very serious problem. And the government of Greenland took a very bold step. They decided to ban all oil and gas exploration. I don't know if it's by 2030 or 35, but they're banning it. And I mean, for obviously a landmass that doesn't have much business outside of its resources, it's a very honorable thing to do, right? Now, that being said, the last company that was awarded the drilling rights to a place called the Jameson Basin, they could still very well drill for the 7 billion barrels of oil that are locked under the Jameson Basin. But they've crunched some numbers, and they've taken a look in the mirror, and they're of the opinion that if there's another way in which we can at least get back our initial investment while fulfilling our obligation for 30% revenue sharing to the local communities and biodiversity projects, then everybody wins. And so what we'll be doing is we're going to tokenize all 7 billion barrels of oil, as well as other biodiversity and natural capital assets. And we're going to create a new carbon economy that we can back up land plots in the metaverse.
Wow.
So yeah, it's some people may be like, oh, well, you're paying an oil company? It's like, no, we're buying back the drilling rights.
I
to
don't
lock it up
know,
forever.
for those that are listening and for those that are new to this, I don't know if you know how impactful this is. I know that right now there are so many different metaverses that are being created, and you see a lot of the main companies saying that they're buying land here, they're doing this there, but this is just phenomenal. I mean, my heart stopped when you talked about that from the perspective of doing good and making a difference. Just phenomenal, just phenomenal. So keep sharing. I had to interrupt because it just is like, that is the type of metaverse I want to personally support, because of the fact that I have been, for Crypto Mom 2 and a lot of my projects, I've been trying to look for a place to have a home and where to buy land and where to kind of grow and develop, because I am just, this whole area is just amazing to me. But this is just phenomenal.
So that's just it, right? We're good. I mean, it's the hardest thing in the world to develop game-like environments. It is the most expensive and time-consuming. So we're not oblivious to that. So we're building out a consortium of partners that know what they're doing. But at the same time, I'm of the opinion that there's going to be hundreds of metaverses for all different communities. There's going to be your gaming, there's going to be your concerts, there's going to be your corporate events, there's going to be everything. But why can't the Greenverse power all those metaverses? So we are in active talks with all other, anyone that we can get our hands on, to discuss about, when we start tokenizing these assets, can we back them up to your land plots as well? Because right now companies are, predominantly Decentraland and Sandbox, but they're doing it because not only do they see the value to connect with their consumer in a different way, but it's also because the other guy's doing it, right? There's a FOMO factor here. And so imagine if companies could not only achieve solve that FOMO factor, but also achieve some of their sustainability metrics with their offsets, you know what I mean? And a lot of people might say, well, that's greenwashing and it's this and it's that. At the end of the day, you have a choice. We can dig up 7 billion barrels, or we can find a new, model to keep it in the ground. And this is just the start. So we're hoping that this model, which we're calling preserve to earn, can be applied to any vulnerable ecosystem that is under threat of extractive industry. So let's say next month we go to the Amazon and there's a consortium of indigenous tribes that are under threat of deforestation and industrial agriculture. But at the same time, they want infrastructure, they want a road, they need a clinic, they need to educate, like whatever. Who are we to say what they can do with their land, right? It's very imperialist and kind of stupid of us to say, well, no, the Amazon, you have to keep the Amazon. Well, come on, man, they've got needs too. So we can actually create a model where we can get them the money, we can fend off the extractive industry, and we can also create, NFT campaigns and digital art experiences and games where we incorporate indigenous knowledge and modern science and help people keep coming back and finding value. Well, then we have a constant stream of revenue to fund, again, real world vulnerable ecosystems with digital ownership and value. Because the only way you make money off of land is stripping it, developing it, building on it. It's very rare that you make money by keeping it the way it is, right? It's just not the nature of capitalism. So,
this is definitely a way of paying it forward and also supporting others. So
exactly.
Yeah, no, it's ingenious. So so how would someone get involved with this? You mentioned again the location.
So right now, the main thing that people can do to support is obviously joining the Arkanauts. So we've priced them fairly cheap. It's on Solana, which again is a proof of stake chain. They also have MoonPay integration. So if you set up your Phantom wallet, it takes about 5 minutes to set up, and you can literally buy with a credit card. So it's super handy, super frictionless. Pretty much the best you could get in terms of environmental impact. And that is going to be sort of your, again, everything that we do in the future, you will have access to. Everything that we launch and support, you will get discounts, rewards, experiences, prizes. What we really want to do, and that is, beyond just facilitating financial capital, we want to facilitate human capital, right? Imagine if you could connect with world's leading conservationists, indigenous, leaders, artists and creative people, lawyers, anyone who lives on planet Earth has a stake in the survival of planet Earth. So why not share our best tips, tricks, tools, resources, knowledge, so we can come together and feel like we all got skin in the game. Like the magic happens through fortuitous conversations and random events. I mean, everything good in my life wasn't because I sent an application, it was because I met someone, right?
Yeah.
And so if we can facilitate a community of people that are like this from all different walks of life from around the world, I would be willing to wager people are going to find investors in their own projects. People are going to find partners to do something new in the Web3 space. People are going to find friendship. I mean, there's no shortage of human connections that can be made, right? But I'm excited about this opportunity, and I think that, you know, a lot of people still scoff at NFTs, and I don't blame them. I was pretty cynical when I first heard about them too. But it's not about a JPEG. It's about the contract that represents your access to whatever it is behind that project, right? And again, I would consider myself have done a good job if, you know, not everyone needs to buy the NFT, but maybe if you see it, you check us out, you learn something, you change your own behavior, and that has a positive impact on the world, well, we did our job. You know what I mean? Like, the whole point of the game here is to help fight climate change and to stop biodiversity loss. So how do we do that? Myriad of ways we can help in the Web3 space.
For me, on multiple levels, as an educator, I'm in the elementary school, and I know that you know, they're learning about climate change. They're learning about a lot of things. They're not learning about blockchain, not yet anyway. And but I see the value of what you're doing as also bringing it down to all the different school levels, so they can see exactly what you're doing and learn from the individuals that you mentioned, because again, they're the next generation that's going to also be supporting this, and it's important for them to understand how they can make a difference as well. So I know that I'm going to do virtual field trips to various metaverses.
Very nice.
That way they can see and explore. I mean, they're already in Minecraft, they're already in, you know, they're already gaming, but they need to know that it's not just about, you know, building, it's also about preserving, like you're saying, on many different levels.
And that's exactly it. It's like, I think we're not naive to the fact that most people can't go on safari. Most people will never go to the Amazon. Most people will never even get to dive a coral reef, especially with the rate that they're bleaching. But if we can create meaningful experiences, I mean, not everybody has a headset yet, but you know, if you bring a VR headset into a class, the kids are wowed, right? And there's ways and things that are a little more tactile when you can experience them, when you can engage with them, it resonates more, right? It's just the way humans are. So I instead of, you know, passively watching a documentary or reading or scrolling through your phone, you can immerse yourself and find others to learn from, and again, play around with the environment. And I think that by being able to facilitate these experiences, we can bring people one step closer to understanding the necessity of them in the natural world, and how, if you ever really do want to see them in real life, then we've got to do something now to make sure they don't die within our lifetime. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's kind of what we want.
So for everyone that is listening, definitely visit Project Ark, you know, become involved, reach out, ask questions. This is just the first of many episodes that we're going to be having. You know, we'll definitely be featuring a lot of the different organizations that are being supported, because again, each one is going to have its own project, and we want to be able to support everyone who's involved. Any last minute thoughts that you want to share? Again, I wanted to have you on the show so that way people could be more aware of what you're doing and the impact you're making. And I'm really grateful for our connection. Any last minute thoughts that you want to share before we sign off?
Not so much. I mean, at the end of the day, I would say the best thing to do is follow us on Twitter. Twitter is where NFTs and Web3 kind of lives. And you can just see all it is that we're facilitating. I mean, so far we've helped, you know, the reintroduction of endangered bison in Romania. We've, you know, helped facilitate the relocation of endangered leopards in Africa. You know, there's no shortage of work to be done here. You know, 150 species a day are being lost in the world's 6th mass extinction event. And I think the name of the game for us is that we just want more people entering the conversation. Okay. Not everybody will be able to buy an NFT, but 100% you can still experience the art. You can still have access to a lot of the things that we're creating. And at the end of the day, come join our conversations. You can join our Discord. You can hop into our Twitter AMAs. You know, we're hopefully going to be having a lot of scientists and astronauts on in the coming weeks to talk about things. But basically, just if you're curious, start learning. And I think that the magic of NFTs and Web3 is that you're never going to find a more considerate group of people willing to share. And that's what we need in today's day and age. So as much as people might be searching for longing and to be a part of something greater than themselves, well, this is a wonderful place to be at the intersection of creativity and action.
I agree. I definitely agree. Thank you so much, Jon, for being on. Everyone, again, the links will be on the blog below, and definitely like and subscribe so you can hear more of our conversations as we continue these episodes. And everyone, remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others. We're all connected. We're all one world, and have a great day.